Okay, so welcome back to our CSCI 380 web programming. In this lecture, actually is a pretty short lecture. So far in the past, because I use the whole lecture helping students like to let them to able to start their VA project and able to launch their first page, and then to like try on how to build their first VA project application, right? And slightly just like recap what we did in the last week, and I show you, okay, we installed the VA and then tell you what the components included in the JS, like what the test, like functional components examples. So and then for your first assignment, you just need to build your form. So you can reuse the sample code I gave you, and based what I gave you, you can modify it. Okay. So what you need to do is just able to have an alert. Okay. Because later, after you know the like really basic, get the basic idea how to build a VA project, then you need to know how to build your API server. Then how can we connect to your API server? Later, the next assignment is how can you post the content to your API server. Okay. And then I will show you how can you install the NoSQL, the MongoDB, and how can you send a request to your database or retrieve the data from your database. Okay, so actually it's a kind of a pathway. So limited time, so you are not able to say, okay, let me familiar one thing, but at least I can let you know something basic. Then you can dive deeper, like how can complete the whole project. Okay, and for this one, we just kind of extend about what's the mounting update and mounting for the life cycle phase. In the last part, we did cover a little bit, so this one will be extended, and then including those life cycle method in the class components. And first one we use a lot is called the use effect hook. Okay, we talk about hook, the hook, so you want side effect in the functional components. So if we want to use fetching data or set some subscriptions, then we can use those like hook, the use effect. Okay, and of course you can customize your hook. Okay, so you can reuse some stateful logic or hook with some encapsulated logic. So either way is fine. Okay, so you can use the one sample called the use effect, and also we can create another component called the VS router, because we in your first assignment, like your assignment, you need to create the one single page, right? Okay, so in a reality, we are not only have like contain one page, then how can we switch? So it's called the VS router. So it can like for the like kind side routering. Also, how can we set up the routers and navigation? So I will give you the sample code. And also maybe we have some like content API, so we can manage some like global stage. So I will show how can we create and use those content. So all this, just like remember later you are like doing better, and first you need to consider the performance optimization. So that means that you need to provide some memorization or some lazy loading. So what's lazy loading? The best example is that have you go to certain online shop platform, so they will show like 20 or 50 items. So they will ask you when you scroll down, it may be like load some new product, or you have to take that product like more, like load more product, then it will show you more. So it's lazy loading. So it can help you to save the time. Okay, if I have 1,000 products, so are you going to list all the products within this moment? Probably no. Okay, so we can like put it down to like maybe 10 parts. Okay, so every time I only load 100 products, so it can reduce the load. Okay, also try to create a better habit to split your code. So because we say it's the functional basically like components, so we try to split your code, like let it become like every as a block, build as a block, and also test with some testing library. But this one will for unit test we will cover in the last chapter. So you don't have to worry about this one. And for the lecture part, I suppose I already upload all this code, so you can check it. So right here, you will see you're going to put in the app main. So you will see the use effect where we say, and then let's say if we need to fetch certain data, so we can use effect before load it, and then we will fetch the content. Then we'll be say, okay, what we're going to do. So if we receive the response, so save it like the JSON file, and then maybe those data will say, as let's say the data, pass it to set data function. So that's how it looks like. And I would like to recommend you use this example for the customize. Okay, so we use the use state in our previous lab, and this time we have the use, like let's say for use counter, and then we have like the variable count and set count use state. And for the increments function, so we will set count plus 1. And for decrement, so we have the set count -1, so pass value. And we have another function right here, use content. So once you import like the count and the increment and decrement, so 3 of them together. So when we pass the count value, and how can you change it? So here will be your small exercise. Actually, this we're doing in the last time, but I will let you try. Are you able to create 2 buttons? And once you press the buttons, the value of the count will be modified. Okay, change. So every time when you click a button, increase, okay, increment, then can you press 1 and then -1. So here's what you need to do. And example right here, a router, you need to install the called the router, like import it from the v8 router DOM. So if you want to import it directly, suppose you're not able to, so you need to like, import it. And if you create two files, then you can create the app. So, and then how can you customize your suppose right here, how can we like touch with the theme? So can you detect your theme color by switching it? Okay, so as same as before. So you can start your using your npm. So just like how we will record your memory. So in our file right here, let me create a terminal. Okay, CD. Okay, I change it. So if you remember, we have the npx create app. Okay, create app, and then giving a maybe I say like wait 5 lab like this. Okay, okay, the process. So after you start, then okay, so it's just a depreciate. So it's a long time ago, so I need to check the new link update of a VF framework. So also obviously you can follow. So I need to change it. So let me see. And if you're curious, I always recommend that we go to the VS official website, and it will show you how can you install it and how can you like start the project. So always like one of the good practice is like checking the looking at their document. So they like let's say how to create a VS. So okay, npx, why not like routers, and then latest create the VF routers, or like create the expo app. So they have a different VF can be used. And maybe we have a basic you will see different name right here. Because for the maybe we have the V8 app, so we can call the create the export, but we are not going to cover with the V8 router, so version 7. So we can use the V8 router with the version. Of course, we are not demonstrating now, it's right now in this moment. So I just showing the how can we since we are testing with our the changing source code using the use hook, so also change the value. So I will only demonstrate this part, and then I just go to you can use your VS Code to open a source file, but to me I just edit the original file right here, and then I replace it. Okay. And then I also need to create a new file. So it's called the right here you see the called the counter, right? Because I import it right here, so I need to create the counter. So I need to create a new one and then move this counter a new file right here. Okay, and I will save it. Okay, to the lab, and then save it to the use file, and then because I put it as a use content right here. Okay, and save it. So right now I put the files. Okay, import, and then npm start. Okay. Here you see right now it's like depreciated, and let's start our local server. Got to change my location. Then start. And then your local host. So suppose you should able like increase and decrease it. And when you will see a count goes to the decrease to minus, right? So here's one of their tasks, like I let the student like more familiar to able to catch how can the JavaScript like control the value. So here's your task, like, is it possible? Can you pop up a value? So once I increase it, can you control if it's more than 20, then you're not allowed to increase it. If like when over 20, you will pop alert message. So you stop the user to like adding more than 20 and then decrease it. So you're not allowed to make it below 0. So right now I can become negative. So here's your extra task to let you to getting more familiar. How can you work on this? And then once using the router. So if you copy this one, you feel, okay, there's some, you get the error. So, okay, so the next step you need to learn is how can we install the package, like we like the library. So if we need to install something, npm, okay, install, and then save. Okay. So why not we add to our save the package. So right here you see we have the package JSON file right here. So I add the we add router DOM. So this one will help us to able to share, because when we upload the source code to the Git or share the file to others, we barely to share our node modules. So you see the node modules folder right here. So it have a bunch of files, and then the file size is not small. So we always want to share those like important files, like original source file instead of the module file. So we will share the package.json, and package.json, when you save it, so when you see the comment right here, I put save, that means I save it to the package.json right here. And you will see when I save it, then when I am using npm install, so it will automatically install all those dependencies. If you didn't put save, then the package don't know where should you grab. Okay. Also, it will save the version. That means that it will try to grab the version you're using. So it will be better for your development. So here's this part. And because for later you need to work on the router. So at least I would like you to you need to able to follow and install the router and then create those page. So one page is called home and then about. Okay. So I will let you to explore more and let's see how you are able to use it. And after you create the multiple page, let's say you have the home, so you put the components home and then components about. So you see, you will one of these two functions just return the value, so it's a one page. And later I will ask you, okay, how can you because like for component base, I will always recommend I change it to multiple. So you need to use maybe if you're not familiar, you may use the VS Code to open the whole project. So right here, V5, right here, okay. Okay, so when you see the app.json right here, I have the source file and the ones used counter, so it's right here. Okay, so if you have, let's say I have other page we're working on, let's say I have a home.js, then I will copy this one function home. So, but I want to always say import the React, and then I will import the home. Okay, this function. And what's next? So we need to export. Okay, export the default. And then this one we call it home. So you see the function we like this. So we'll create a home page, and then the same, we need to create one more, and we can change our app.json file and change to redirector. Okay. Okay, so will be like this. Then how can we switch? So here will be your extra exercise. That's what I gave the students to do. And when you look at your video, like watch this video, so it's not pretty long, but you have really lots of things like practically you need to follow. So for when I upload it as a source code, so trying to copy all the source code to your VS Code and create a project and execute and see how it works. Okay, and observe, because probably you may be able you may be use it for your project. So at least I need to let you try and use all these. Okay, and here will be your time to try to like run all this sample code and then check like what's the return value, how we're going to like display on the your browser. Okay, so I will stop the recording right here. So if you have any question about like how to create all these things, please let me know. Thank you.